If you're at all familiar with the witch's pyramid, you'll know that to will and to dare are very important aspects of that pyramid. And we focus a lot in magic on the will, willing things to happen, putting our will into the world, following our higher will. It's a very active aspect of the craft. But the craft is about the active and the passive, the receptive as well as the giving aspect. And we work within that polarity, and we also work with God and Goddess energies. So surrender and being receptive and receiving, or being open to receiving, are also parts of the magical process and can really help you with your spellcraft. And in this video, I want to talk about how surrender and being open to receiving can actually be very, very powerful and not seen as being something that is negative or weak. But before I jump into that, hi, I'm Sandra from mysterywitchschool.com. If you're new to the channel and you want to become a Wiccan or a witch, or you just want to know more about it, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss any videos. We don't talk a lot about surrender in the craft or in magic in general. We don't talk about receiving. We hear a lot about being open to receiving from the law of attraction, but we don't talk a lot about it in the magical crowd because we're so focused on putting our will out into the world through doing magic and spellcraft. And while it's important to put our will out there into the world if we're wanting to work magic, we also need to be open to receiving the results of that magic so that we don't become attached to the result and what is commonly known in the occult circles as the lust for result, because it will and can interfere with your results of your spellcrafting if you're too attached to the result. In our world, we think of surrender as means you don't have control. And quite frankly, when you do put your will out into the world, and even if you're working with deities or you're just doing sympathetic magic, once that petition goes out into the world, it's no longer you. You're not in charge of the how. So it is about surrendering to the magic, if it's sympathetic magic, or surrendering to the beings that you're working with if you're working with deities. So it is about being able to just hand something over and trust that it's going to be taken care of. We're not used to doing that. We're used to having control over everything, and it's unbalanced because we need both will and surrender as part of that principle of polarity so that we can have that dance between the two. It's similar to giving and receiving. So when we're putting our will out into the world, we're actually giving out. We're giving out our desire. So we're giving out energy into the world. We're feeding the universe, if you want to call it that, with this energy of desire and of will. So the surrendering part is the receiving side of that. It's that opening up to receive and then give form to whatever it is that you do receive. So it's part of a balanced polarity there. And we need that balance of polarity because we humans have a tendency to like to go to extremes, and that's not healthy, no matter which extreme we go to. So surrendering and being open to receiving can help let go of that attachment to the result so that you're not obsessing about when's my spell going to work, how's it going to work, oh, what if my spell does this, that, or the other, as a lot of people worry about. Don't worry about your spell. Once you've put it out there, just let it happen the way that it happens and get on with doing whatever it is that you're wanting to do, and take any inspired action that may come from that spell so that you can bring it into manifestation. Now, you've probably heard of the Serenity Prayer, which is essentially a Christian prayer, but you've also probably seen, if you hang out on Pinterest anyway, that there are various different pagan versions of this prayer. So this one is one that I really like because it actually works with the 4 elements and can help us understand how being open to surrendering and receiving as much as we are to willing and directing is part of an overall creative process. So I will read it out here. Grant me the power of water to accept with ease and grace what I cannot change. Because some things can't be changed. you're doing spell work for a situation that's not really conducive to being changed because there's so many variables going against it, or there really isn't a lot of options as to how the magic can manifest, then sometimes you have to just surrender to the fact that the magic's not really going to help that much, that there may be other things that you need to do on a mundane level that's actually going to help you bring about the change. And sometimes that means sitting back, letting go, and just saying to the gods, I don't know what to do, guide me. And then taking inspired action to be guided by either your spirit guides, by deities that you work with. Sometimes you do just have to let go and flow with what the energy is doing at this time. Just being in rhythm with the flow and letting go. It makes life easier, even if it doesn't sound like it would do that. The next line is the power of fire for the energy and courage to change the things that I can. So here we're dealing with the ability to be willful, work magic, take the action that we need to take in order to make whatever it is that we're wanting to happen or change happen. So we know that we have to surrender with water and just go with the flow of water. But we've also got fire in which we can will. So being daring, water is often associated in the witch's pyramid with to dare. So being daring can be simply opening up to surrender and go, okay, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. Help me out here. That is daring. It's a courageous thing to do, to just allow yourself to flow. And fire, of course, is associated with to will. So the next element is the element of air. The power of air for the ability to know the difference. So this is to know. The part of the witch's pyramid, to know, is always associated with air. So we've got air knowing when to surrender and open up, which is an open thing. Surrendering is very open. It's an open energy. And when to will, which is more directed. So if you're looking at the energies, the goddess and god energies, you're looking at the open energy as being a very feminine energy, and the directed energy as being a very masculine energy. And we have these energies within ourselves. And then we have, of course, the power of earth. So the power of earth for the strength to continue our path. So earth is associated in the witch's pyramid with silence. And the silence can be keeping our mouth shut. So I think as witches, a lot of us know that there's a lot of witches out there who cannot even tell people what their spiritual path is because of a lot of prejudice still around us. There's some things that we know that we can't talk about because the people around us just aren't there yet. And that could cause a lot of conflict, and they're not even ready maybe to hear it. Part of walking the path of the wise, to know when to speak and when not to speak. It's also about strength and being able to be strong within yourself. So being silent can also mean taking that time out for yourself where you can meditate. Know thyself. Take that time to really center yourself and have that strength of the earth. So that is the Serenity Prayer from a pagan perspective and how it relates to the Witch's Pyramid. I don't know who wrote it. I could not find who the author of this is. So if you know who the author of this is, please let me know, because there's a lot of it on the internet, but not with a name. It's maybe it was written anonymously. I don't know, but it's a really good prayer or recitation, if you want to call it that, to help you work more with your spellcraft and also to help you just tune in more with the reality of life and when and where to do magic, and once you've done your magic, to be able to just go, okay, I've let it go. I can let it go. I can let it flow. If you're wanting more help with your spellcraft, do download the Spellcaster Checklist. It will help you make decisions about whether you do need to surrender a little bit more, whether your magic is actually going to be something that could be effective or maybe not so effective, And if you do find that your magic is got a good chance of working, then it will help guide you as to how you can construct your spell to make it more effective. So the link to that is in the description field below this video. If you like the video, hit the like button, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm Sandra from mysterywitchschool.com. I'll see you on the next video. Blessed be.